I am excited and I'm inspired because I just saw this game by Nepomniachtchi and it's a masterpiece. And you can just feel the grandeur of chess when you see this game. So let's get on to it. It's played in Paris. It's 3 days ago, and I'm still high on this game. Nepomniachtchi is white against Aronian, strong player Aronian, and it's rapid chess, which make it even more impressive. C4 is, I think, Nepomniachtchi's way of saying I'm not gonna gonna show any preparation in my E4 before I'm playing Magnus Carlsen. By the way, it's a good idea to play different openings. You get a better universal style if you master different kind of positions. If you always play the Caro-Kann and the London, you will have a sort of too solid, too unflexible way of thinking about chess. Okay, e6 and g3. The Reti opening, you can say, Kramnik's speciality, and White can transpose to the Catalan with d4 here, but he does not do that, and he takes here, check, getting back the pawn, and black plays bishop d7. Of course, there are many possible moves. Knight b d7 and c6 are also interesting. Bishop d7 has been a little bit popular, but it seems white is finally finding a way to solve this. The idea here is to play c5. If, for instance, if you go something like this to oppose this diagonal, then white will not play d4, but d3 and e4, and this bishop will look silly on c6. So if white will play e4 and getting a strong center. So that's why black plays c5 first, but that does allow white to play knight e5, attacking this pawn and attacking the bishop. And if you play bishop c6, white will take twice and you will get a horrible pawn structure. So black plays queen c8, and b3 is normal. And here white has gotten the bishop pair. But this position black has been doing sort of okay from this position due to his nice control of the center. With the pawn on c5, he does, and a strong knight on c6, and a great outpost for the knight on d5. He only have good pieces and can put the rooks on active squares, and it's not been easy for white to prove an advantage in even though he does have the bishop pair and a slight overweight in the center, a d pawn versus a c pawn. Okay, and all this is very normal. Castle. Here, the rook definitely belongs on this square. This pawn is the only weakness in black's camp at the moment. Black's idea is, of course, to get this pawn out of the way, so this bishop will be like a ghost on a diagonal where nothing happens. This is the hope white has, because at the moment this bishop has no counterpart. So that's can be a little bit scary for white. Rook d1, all very natural. Also, it's a bit always annoying with this X-ray effect on the queen. Castle, knight c3, and they have finished the development. A6, also a normal move. Rook fd8 would have been just as fine, I think. But I think black is hoping that the white queen will have problems finding a good square, but it's not really in trouble. It can sit quite comfortable here. H6, all very natural moves. D3, and the queen goes back. And I think black should be fine. The only problem might be this one, and of course there is the bishop pair. If ever there comes a position where they sort of wake up, it could be spelled trouble for black. By the way, if black's pawn was not on b5 but on b6, black would have definitely no problem at all, I think. So he might even place move the knight and play something like this, opposing this bishop and just getting rid of it. But that's slightly more difficult with the pawn on b5 because this pawn is weaker. e3, queen b6, and well, they're moving around. Nothing much happens. Queen e2, getting out of this very annoying pin. And I think white is now slightly more comfortable due to the bishop pair, and I would prefer to be white here. So I'm not sure about the a6 b5 play. a3 and knight in here and take, and of course what black's idea is to keep a very sound structure. At this moment he's hoping to play this move. Of course it's not his move here. So white decides to open the position. The timing is perfect for that. So he plays d4 and actually gets a clear advantage. And we start to see there might be some problems here. There could also be with the queen here and so on. And white also sometimes he can go something like this. So black is not that happy. And here he makes a mistake, I think. He played knight f6. I don't know what he should play, but he should definitely not play knight f6 because there is some concrete action that white can take here. And by the way, he doesn't have any other plan, so he takes the pawn. And the idea is that if black was to take with the rook, then bishop d4 might be annoying in some variations. So he took here, and that might also be wrong, and here, and he cannot take with the rook due to bishop d4 and the pin here, and black is losing the exchange. Another problem is that queen c5, taking with the queen, runs into this little thing, and this guy down here is in trouble. So he has to take with the bishop, and that was definitely not the plan. So I think when black played knight f6, he miscalculated here, because this allows this move to happen. It might also be that that he simply saw that this position and said, okay, but yes, I get a double pawn on the king side, and it's not the dream scenario I was hoping for, but it's not the end of the world either. And we have opposite colored bishops, and there is a pawn hanging here. And by the way, Aronian is always looking for ways to win. So he's thinking, maybe I can snatch that pawn, and I might get a pass pawn on the queen side. Queen h5, hitting here, and here Aronian definitely makes a very clear mistake. He plays bishop takes a3, which was definitely a mistake for sure, because it allows white to carry out an amazing sequence of moves. So let's see. He took here, and this is just crazy, to be honest. And of course, one of the ideas is to exchange the rooks here, and saying, okay, with only opposite color bishops, nothing bad will happen. But here comes the rook attacking this pawn with so forcing this move, and white plays bishop here. This is also a very interesting move. Getting ready to play this move, winning the pawn on f7. So that's a surprising attacking idea. Black plays f5, and he probably hoped here that that white would say, okay, well, I can't do much after this, and here and take the perpetual check that is possible here. Check, and it's a draw. But in this position, white has a thunderbolt of a move. So give yourself, and and I think, of course, Aronian missed this when he played bishop a3, took on a3, and it's very easy to miss because it's the kind of impossible moves that when you see it, you say, "Oh, yes, of course." But before that, it's just really hard to see. So what do White do here? You guess it? Goes woo, and we see that this is a huge problem. And by the way, this is also a big problem. And moving the f pawn is out of the question because then the rook goes back, and then there is trouble here. So rook d5, and black is having the problem that the queen here is undefended. So this pawn can't take, but he does have to do something. He took here, but it doesn't help, of course. The queen is way too strong, especially since black's structure is compromised. So and check, and it's all over. What a wonderful move! Queen, rook d5, bishop e4, and rook d5. It's just you just say, okay, let's play chess. It's we really enjoy. And here, of course, this is hopeless. This pawn is, by the way, very strong, but white will probably be able to make some kind of a combination of taking and checking and winning some material, and that's also what happens. Check, and this bishop might get into trouble. It's trying to escape, and queen comes in. This square is annoying. This pawn is hanging. Rook f7, take e3, check, and whoops, there goes the bishop, and black resigned. I can just show it like this. So this was Nepomniachtchi, and I think it's safe to say he is the challenger for Magnus Carlsen in the next World Championship match, which will take place, I think, in November, and it will be very interesting. I think he might have a chance against Carlsen. Of course, Carlsen is a huge favorite, but Nepomniachtchi, he is very dangerous and he is very aggressive, and it seems like he has nerves of steel, which is very important because Carlsen might get nervous. He has a tendency to get nervous in these World Championship matches. This was GM Talks. Thank you for watching.